Hello, I'm Alex Bloodfire, and I'd like to welcome you all to my stream. Today we're going to be talking about what's going on in the world of gender ideology, and I'm going to go through my Gettr stream again, like I did last week, and we can keep everybody up to date on the ins and outs of disgraceful and dangerous gender ideology. So one of I've been contacted by a few people, actually, a couple of American women, in fact, as well, and they're saying, why should, what's going on? Why should they get involved? They don't seem to know, like a lot of countries, they don't seem to know a lot about what the seriousness of gender ideology is the impact that it's having on women, the impact that it's having on children, the impact it's having on the very fabric of society. So it'd be very, very interesting to run through and explain, to you know tell these American women and tell women all over the world why they should get involved, why they should speak out, and why they should remove the pronouns out the bio. Hello, Cycle Dance. Hey, hello. Thank you for joining us. Without much ado, I'm now going to go through my feed. Do, 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 do. So let's go on. So the first thing that I posted on Gettr was the NHS Trust. That is the Lewisham and Greenwich NHS Trust is is competing company so I'll read it how it is. So it says the NHS Trust gives competing companies higher marks if they use Stonewall's ideology. This is what claims a whistleblower. So this was one of my first posts, and this is what I posted today. Absolutely appalling. It's patients groups, clinicians, and the health secretary have raised concerns about the impact of the NHS's ties with the controversial charity Stonewall. So I'm saying, come out of Stonewall. Why are companies still in Stonewall? Stonewall are not doing anything for us. They're not doing anything for LGBT people. LGB, is that right? LGB people. That's right. LGBT people. They're not doing anything for us. They're not doing anything for progress. So look, let's come out of Stonewall. Let's, the government's telling you to come out of Stonewall. Let's get out of Stonewall. That's the first one. So my next post on Gettr is why is the NHS again hell-bent on erasing all mention of women? So this is going on in the NHS, that they're actually erasing the word woman for chest, I don't know, chest feeders, all the rest of it. Really appalling and offensive words to women that needs to be stopped. We need to stop the NHS doing this. So more people need to speak out. We need to complain to the NHS. We need to highlight what the NHS are doing, and that's one thing that's happening. So there we go. And the next post, what I posted on Gettr, was the comedian Ricky Gervais. He's joking that he's reporting fans for hate crimes for laughing at the wrong parts of his new material. I find that quite funny, so I posted that on my Gettr, and it's all to do with jokes that he's made, which apparently have upset the trans community. So we've got the next one, which is, where are we? Can't see anything that's right. Okay, so the next one, we've got a Staffordshire University professor slams the inclusive toilets at a museum, and it was the Science and Industry Museum in Manchester. She basically was forced to walk past a man using a urinal while she was, in a toilet. I mean, this is absolutely disgusting. It's disgraceful to women. It's completely unacceptable. And, this sort of behavior, this sort of action, it needs to be stopped. And if women don't speak out, this is going to be, actually, this has become more common than ever. And women need to speak out. Men need to speak out. We've all got mums, we've all got, daughters, or a lot of us have got daughters, cousins, sisters. This is what they're having to put up with. It's time that men really stood up and said, no, this is not acceptable. We're not allowing this. And that's that. So our next one, so accusations of transphobia are pure misdirectional. This is barrister Robin Murray White, as according to the Authentic Equity Alliance and Synod. She said that barrister Robin Murray White has falsely accused the AEA, that's the Authentic Equity Alliance, of transphobia when they're simply defending women's rights. So hang on, because we've got a little message. I will read this out. So I heard urinals in women's toilets have been seen already. Yep, I'm afraid. Yeah, that's it. You know, it's going to become very common unless people speak out. These urinals, you know, which really are men's toilets, basically. You know, and that's it. They're men's toilets. You know, women's toilets have been, they're disappearing, you know, and they're being replaced by men's toilets, and it needs to stop. We need to speak out, otherwise this will get worse. So yeah, so going on to, so that's barrister Robin Murray White has falsely accused the AEA of transphobia simply for and simply, you know, they're defending women's rights. That's another post that I put on Gettr. And again, if you want to join me on Gettr, I mean, my account is locked on Twitter. I don't know how long I've been locked out now. I've been locked out for 5 months. I've not actually done anything wrong. I put a post up, and it was flagged up, obviously by, you know, the trans lobby have flagged my profile up, as I do quite regular, and they've decided to lock my account and make out that I've done something wrong. They changed. So what happened is I uploaded a post. It generated a photograph, and this photograph was uploaded before Twitter changed the rules on photographs. And instead, okay, what's happened is they've just locked me out, and they won't let me back in. I either accept that I've done a violation, or they just lock me out. So that's why I'm on Gettr, or one of the reasons. I think Gettr's better anyway. I would have gone on Gettr whether I was on Twitter or not. Gettr is better. So, you know, join me on Gettr. I'm Alex Bloodfire. I'm on a vast amount of sites, you know, so just basically pop by Gettr, you know, and you know, let's connect on Gettr. You know, it's much better than Twitter anyway. So you are banned on Twitter. So Cycle Dancer's banned on Twitter too. And today's biggest story, IMO, is Colin Wright's Etsy and PayPal accounts were closed. And I just read that actually about Colin Wright. That's very, very concerning. Why PayPal, who have closed other people's accounts as well, on the, you know, on the GC brigade, anybody that dare to speak out against gender, and yeah, so I did read that, but a lot of people are actually banned on Twitter. I'm talking that so many people are taking refuge on Gettr. I just wanted to say hello to Amy. Thanks for popping in, Amy. I really do appreciate you being here. Thank you. So yeah, I was going to say that a lot of people are banned on or got locked out from Twitter, and they, as I say, they're taking refuge on Gettr, and basically, you know, there are so many people now on Gettr, from gay men to lesbians to women, even just you know, ordinary men, heterosexual straight men are banned from Twitter for simply daring to have an opinion, and it's a lot of people. There's millions on Gettr now, and a lot of them are either banned from, you know, locked out, or have had issues with Twitter. Right, so I'll just go on to Amy. So Amy said, sorry I'm late, was just watering plants and getting myself sandwich and cup of tea. That's fine, Amy, no worries at all. Yep, that's okay. Thank you for joining. That's perfect. Right, Cycle Dance says, and when someone gets banned on Twitter, it's always because of the gender stars. It is. And I was actually going to say earlier on, I've forgotten to say it, that I'm actually on a list which has been made out from the trans agenda, trans lobby and trans agenda lobby. They've put me on a list, and basically everybody's reporting my account. So I'm getting accounts reported everywhere. They've even reported my Parler account. How stupid. I mean, that's a freedom site, and I'm getting reported on Parler. I'm getting reported on every site. They're trying to get me banned off everything. So that's another thing, that if you come onto YouTube one day and suddenly I'm not here, I will be streaming on another platform. So, you know, don't think that I'm going to stop. I will be streaming, and I will be streaming soon, every single day, every night. I'll be streaming. I'm preaching about what's happening in the dangerous world of gender ideology, so that more people can speak out, so that we can find out, you know, exactly what's going off in gender ideology. And I want to expose it, and I really will expose it. So Amy said that she's just dropping cheese on the keyboard. Sorry, sorry. So you're eating, and yeah. Oh, oh dear. Yes. Right. Okay. Well, yeah. I just wanted to also mention, I missed that last week, Amy, as well. I missed the fact that I am, I don't know how this is coming out, whether it's coming out the wrong way around or whatever, but that says Alex Bloodfire, Boxdale Sphere. I am the author of this book, and at the moment it's only £1.99 on Amazon for the download, and I think the book is something like £6.90 or something. So if anyone's out there and you know, they want to support me, please do buy my book, because I'm really being attacked now by trans activists. They're trying to get me off every platform I'm on. They're trying to affect the book. They're trying to do everything. I've had death threats recently as well. So, you know, please do support me and buy my book. It would really make me happy if you do. So that's so there we go. And I will, as I said in the first in my introduction, that I will have competitions as soon as I can find out a way of holding a competition with my book, so that I can get people. Thank you, Amy. That's really good. So she's pointed out that this is the Alex Bloodfire Boxdale Sphere, available in all good bookshops, and it is at the moment until trans activists try to remove it. But there we go. So that's that. Right, so I'm going to move on to the next post. So this is one I really found funny, and I really like this. I'm really happy to hear that trans journalists Freddie McConnell and Vic Parsons are both pulling out of the Guardian's Pride special coverage. And I added under that tweet, perhaps the Guardian could do us all a favour, us Brits all a favour, and stop them writing for the paper together. We don't want to hear their nonsense. We don't want to hear their stupid extremist trans ideology in the Guardian. So perhaps the Guardian could stop both these journalists writing. Okay, so that was that. So right, okay, and then we've got the next one. So like I say, I'm going to go through my Gettr account to expose everything that I've exposed. People have been contacting me, and they're wondering, you know, why are we suddenly jumping up about gender ideology, and you know, and so I'm here really to expose what's going on, and I think this is a really good way of doing it, is to go through my account and just explain everything, you know, everything that I've been posting for the last week. So here we go. So we've got newborn babies could be harmed by woke NHS-backed guidance, which states that trans women can breastfeed, okay, by taking a powerful drug. And this is so they're saying that this advice, well, quite rightfully so. I mean, you know, men can't really breastfeed kids, and I think I just cannot believe that we're at this stage where we're actually accepting that men can, you know, do perverted behavior and breastfeed a kid. I mean, it's not normal behavior, that, and I think it's perverted, and I think something should be done about it, really. I don't think that we should be standing by and allowing disgraceful people to do that. Oh dear. Okay, so the next one, I picked it up a little bit late, this one, but this is a transgender Barbie, is now available for very young children. I did see a therapist, I think it was on Gettr or somewhere, who was saying exactly that, you know, the Barbie can sometimes be used to groom children, and this transgender Barbie is a little bit you know, it's not right, is it? It's not right. So I'm a bit ashamed of Mattel really for bringing out a transgender Barbie for children. I mean, I can understand it if it's for, well, I can't understand it if it's for adults, but this is for children. So you know, that's that one. Now, Cycle Dance wants to know what my book is about. So let me. So I'll read you the title. Is it actually real? The transgender Barbie is based on Laverne Cox. I'm not bothered whether I've pronounced the name, his name right or not, but it's based on the based on him basically pretending to be a woman, and you know that's what it's based on. Right, so let's have a look. Right, so obviously that wasn't the book then, that was about the transgender Barbie. So I won't read the book out there. But the book is a spy book, if anybody's out there thinking, what is... In fact, you know what? No, we will read it. So I'm going to read it out. It says, Brock Steele knows his name and very little else. After a vicious attack in mysterious circumstances, Brock's memory has abandoned him. He has no idea why he's been hounded by a mystery man with a gun, and why bad things keep happening to the people he loves. And why are strange voices talking to him from the walls of his flat? When he's forced to go on the run to save his life, he has to decide who to trust, and making a mistake could be fatal. So can Brock find out who he is, why he's been hunted, and stay alive in the bargain? And that is Brock Steele Sphere by Alex Bloodfire. It's available on Amazon. So if you want to support me, as I say, I'm being very much attacked by trans activists now. So evil, sick, perverted trans activists. So any support would be really appreciated. It's $1.99 for a download on what's that? Yeah, it's $1.99 for a download on Amazon, and it's about £6.90 for that. So yeah, any support would be really appreciative. Yeah, any support would be really helpful. Right, so I can't get back into my phone now. Let's just right. I'm just trying to get back into my phone now to read. So that was a transgender Barbie. Right, that's that. So we've got the Texas lawmakers planning a bill to ban children from drag shows. I cannot believe, I've seen this in the gay bar, I cannot believe that children are being allowed to watch these shows, which are adult entertainment, but let alone that actually stuff money into the pants of what I can only describe as perverts. You know, these drags, these female impersonators are allowing children to shove money in their pants are disgusting. And I'm very, very concerned as to why this has happened. So that's where this came from. That, you know, quite rightly, Texas lawmakers, a Texas lawmaker is planning a bill to ban children from drag shows. Children shouldn't be in drag shows in the first place, and the police were called to actually remove the children from that pub. So, I mean, you know, what my question is to Brian Slayton and anyone else that's planning, you know, to this ban is are you going to shut the pub down as well? You know, that pub shouldn't have been engaged in this behaviour. It's not in the interests of LGBT people. It's not in the interests of anybody. It's not in the interests of drags. It's not in the interests of drag acts. It's not in the interests of female impersonators. You know, this is perverted behaviour, and it shouldn't be allowed. But yeah, so that's that one. And then we've got To Hell with Pride Month. Pride has become a pompous, grotesque, and intolerant. And absolutely, I totally agree. Pride isn't what it was like. Pride isn't there. It's been hijacked by trans activists who are trying to push a disgraceful agenda, a horrible agenda. And that was by, oh, that was Spike Online. Oh, yeah, that was another one. So yeah, okay, I've lost it now. Okay, so right, okay, so the next one we've got is Sharon Davis, as she's hitting back after trans cyclist Emily Bridges laughs off competitive advantage probe. I I really think let's go on to these messages. So seems like every month is Pride Month. It does. It does. I mean, you look at trans ideology. Trans, for instance. It's all the time. They've got days for this, Pride for this, trans Pride, this Pride, that Pride. Now they've stole LGB Pride. Yeah, it does. It seems like we've got every month is now become Pride Month, and it's embarrassing. And then we've got Cycle Dance, who has said, I hate how all these companies participate so strongly in Pride. Like, why? I don't know, because they're not, these companies that are supporting this are not really, I can't see how they're supporting LGBT people. And if you notice that these big corporations are putting the rainbow in this country, but yet not in the Western countries, but not in the countries that ban homosexuality, or anything. Why are they getting it? It's all a money making machine, and that's what's happened. It's a complete money making machine. Um, so that was that. Well, I'm not going to have to get in my phone again. Let's have a look. Right, so we've done the Emily Bridges one. It laughs off the competitive advantage probe. It's you know of course, trans women, are men, and they've got a competitive advantage of women, and they shouldn't be in women's sport at all. So Cycle Dance says yes, they are making the statement where it's actually needed. Not to mention kink. So not to mention kink, which right. So I'll read Emily's. Not to mention kink, which has become a big thing at Pride. Kink's disgraceful. I mean, I cannot believe that people are flaunting themselves out. I mean, what do they think that people think when they go off with these kink disgusting things? I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, they're creating a massive reputation for themselves and for us, for everybody. It's disgraceful. They're not making the statement where it's actually needed. From Cycle Dance, they're not making the statement, and that's absolutely right. Right, let me go back in the dogma. So Yuki, I think it's all disgusting, to be quite honest. I mean, I think you've got scantily clad, heroin addicts on the streets, in rainbow outfits or what. Absolutely disgrace. I think it's all, the dogmas are disgusting, and so is the leather. Should not be done in public. It needs to be done out of the public and away out of children, if you need to do that. But it's not acceptable at all. It's we need changes. We really do. So the next thing that I actually put on my Gettr is, what is a woman? This is from I think this was from, is it Matt? Let me it is, isn't it? It's Matt Walsh, yeah, and he's just uh, done a is it a um what was it? He's basically done a little thing on what is a woman. It's caused quite a stir. He's had death threats as well from the sick trans activists, the horrible trans activists. And so I said, well, a biologically born adult human female, that's what a woman is. It really is the only, that's it. Because as we all know, trans women are men, and they're not women. They're not women like adult human females. They're not women. It's as simple as that. So that's what I said. So I've got another message. Before anyone thinks I'm anti-LGB, I'm bisexual, and my uncle is gay, and I'm gay as well. You know what I mean? It's not that I'm not anti-LGB. I'm not even anti-trans. I'm not anti anything. But I'm not going to sit by and watch a trans movement wreck women's rights, wreck gay rights, and wreck everyone else's rights. It's just disgraceful. I'll be honest, I cannot stand Matt Welsh. I've highlighted his misogyny before. Yeah, I mean, at least he's speaking out. He's speaking out, and but yeah, okay, point taken, Amy. There, yep, that's fine. Right, so we'll move on to the next one. And this is Mark Drayford in Wales, who said that trans women are women. Mark, you really need your head seen to. You really do. You were letting a whole category of people in Wales, that's half the population, are adult human females. They are the women. Trans women are not women. Okay. And that's exactly what I said. He's really letting the women down in Wales. I mean, in order to get men in dresses to be called women, and it's not true. It will never happen, and I will always fight against it. You know, if men want to wear dresses, this isn't the way. You know, women are a class of people, and I think, you know, the Welsh First Minister Mark Drakeford should really, you know, have his head examined. You know, what he's saying is offensive. It's not just, it's offensive to everybody, and we all think. I mean, most people think this is ridiculous. You know, but more people need to speak up. Um, Keystone cops must be cops then. What's that? Keystone cops must be cops then. Right. Okay. I don't. Yeah. Keystone cops must be. Okay. You got me there, Amy. I'm a bit lost on that, but yeah. Okay. So, Biden pushes radical transactivism in schools. This is where Biden, okay, as said, you know, if you don't ever have the dirty transactivism in schools, and we don't start brainwashing children with transactivism, we're denying you the food. So he stopped the food allowance. He stopped the meals. I what a disgraceful man. I mean, on his first day, he put out an executive order, which in effect, um, you know, took away women's rights. I mean, I don't think that's still been enacted yet. I mean, you know, because I think people have realised how ridiculous it was. But I think Biden's got to be one of the worst presidents that the world's ever seen, that America's ever seen. Okay, so let's see what the Keystone stops cops were, because I did want to know that. So the Keystone cops, often spelt Keystone cops, are fictional, humorous, incompetent policemen featured in silent film slapstick comedies produced by Max Sennett. Yeah, totally, totally. Right, so I think, to be quite honest, Amy, I don't know what's going on with the police at all. I mean, they're all becoming Keystone cops. I mean, I really do not know what is. I mean, we've got another one which I missed, actually. Didn't put that on, where we've got a police force that are threatening people again. I mean, this happened last year at Pride, and they're threatening that, you know, if anybody you know, has an opinion about gender ideology and puts it online, and they take it offensive, they're going to investigate it. I mean, they're stopping freedom of speech. Um, they're stopping people speaking about truth. Really, they're trying to bring gender ideology as though it's real. Gender ideology isn't real. It's false and rubbish. So I'll move on. Okay, to the sixth former that was bullied out of a private school. For questioning a private girls' school, for questioning trans ideology, and she's sharing a nightmare story. She said there were up to 60 of them, and they began shouting at me, "Nazi, bigot, transphobe, racist." They were so close, I felt the spit on my face. This is what they've done to a girl who's just simply questioned gender ideology. I'm a bit concerned it's a girls' school, actually. Is this what girls are doing? And this is because girls really have been brainwashed. Girls have been brainwashed by us, our education system, into believing that trans ideology is real. And this is where we are. And that's why we've got girls that are just sticking up for boys who shouldn't really be allowed to change gender, because, to be honest, even in the Equality Act, people are not allowed to change until they're 18. So what's happening is, I'm pretty sure that this is actually illegal. So if you're claiming that you're trans under 18, I think, no, absolutely not. So, you know, they shouldn't be in schools. But I really do feel for this girl who's been bullied out of a school over people that are really pushing a very bad, stupid, perverted gender ideology. And I think it might be nice if these girls one day, that, you know, all these 60 girls that have ganged up on this girl, actually realise what they're doing, the damage that they're actually doing to our society by doing this. I mean, you know, this is not on. So we've got another one from Amy. I consider the police as a career option and passed police communication exams. This was before I decided going down the path of physics. Oh, physics was probably better. It's probably a better. I wanted to join the police, actually, when I was younger, but I never got round to it. But I didn't pass any exams for the police, though. But it is something I wanted to do, but I never do it. So I'm in the chat box. Please do feel free to join. Yeah, please. Anyone else, please join in. Fire as many questions, and then the show can go on forever. Go on for at least the hour because I sometimes fiddle, what to talk about. So please do ask questions, fire away, and yes, it's and also when this clip is aired, put questions underneath because I really will answer your questions if I can. And yeah, so please do that. Right, so we have got. Oh, and I may. Well, I am. I'm going to come on Wednesday and Saturday next week. So I'm going to do a Wednesday one. I don't know how long. I don't know how long I'm going to go on for on Wednesday because I might not have too much to talk about, but it will be from half an hour to. I want to stretch to an hour, but if I can do half an hour, then that's half an hour on Wednesday, and I will be on Saturday. So I'm going to do two YouTubes next week. To highlight and bring to the attention of everybody what's happening with gender ideology. And Amy says the show must go on as Freddie sang, and it will. The show will go on, even if I get banned from YouTube by unscrupulous, perverated trans activists. I will continue the show on another platform. There's loads of other platforms. It is just a show. It is just uh, a stream. So there are plenty of other platforms that will welcome me. So the show must go on. But I'm pretty confident I won't get banned from YouTube. Actually, I'm pretty confident that trans activists will lose. They are losing the war anyway. And I think they will lose because there's plenty of people on that are discussing gender ideology. So I think that's it. But next week, Wednesday and Saturday. So, if you can make it, please be there or be square. Right, so the next one, which I'm going to read out, is from another one for the NHS. Actually, the NHS to cut diversion and inclusion jobs in the management shake-up. Yes, yes, yeah. But the same time, cycle dance at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. on Wednesday, 7 p.m. on Saturday. Yes, it will. Right. So yeah, I mean, why did we ever allow this diversity and inclusion in the NHS? It's a waste of money. It's taking money away from treatment. It's putting positions in there to prop up a perverated gender ideology, an ideology which shouldn't be in the NHS, to be quite honest at all. So I said it's about time because all this money it's just been a waste of public money. It's coming out of our NHS money, our taxes, and the NHS have just thrown money up to give it to people to prop up one of the worst ideologies that has come for that has been here for a very, very long time. We don't want trans ideology on the NHS. We don't want any ideology in NHS. We want they're there to provide health, and that's what it should be. So that yeah, so there's that. Okay, so I was hounded out of school for transphobia. That's the same girl. There is no forgiveness of those who question dogma. Yeah, that's the girl who was hounded out again. And I've got here where Owen Jones, he questioned it. I mean, how mean? I mean, what is wrong with Owen Jones? I mean, how mean? A girl's been, had to flee a school. Do you know what I mean? And Owen Jones was questioning that. That is so bad. I really. That's another one. Can the Guardian just stop Owen Jones from writing completely? And then I might read the Guardian again. We don't want to listen to his rubbish either. It's all about a crap ideology, that nobody wants to listen to. So. Right, so moving on to the next one, the mad, bad, and sad world of gender ideology, and that's about Matt Walsh's "What Is a Woman," and he's again exposing like what I'm trying to do, exposing the delusions of an ignorant trans lobby. So that's another post on Gettr. So the next post that I put up was a trans campaigner blasts ridiculous move to cut the word woman from NHS advice. I think I mentioned something earlier on about that. The NHS are hell-bent on removing the word woman, and something needs to be done. More people need to speak out. We need to expose the NHS for what they're doing. The NHS are appalling what they're doing. And I'm really glad that they're going to move these positions, that they're going to stop these positions, because it's just ridiculous people, in these positions trying to prop up a sick trans ideology that, we don't want in our NHS. So hopefully, once we've got rid of these positions and people pushing stupidity in the NHS, hopefully, um, we might see differences. So we've got a couple of comments now. So the story with the bullied girl is really important. It is very important, to be quite honest. My heart really goes out for this girl, because, it's going to ruin her education. It's going to ruin, it's affecting her life, and it's all through some perverated trans activists that have, forced their beliefs onto a school and brainwashed the rest of the girls. It is. And you go on to say, I so wish it would have been in mainstream media, because it has the potential to pique so many people. I know. I mean, this is it. I mean, the trans lobby do something. Anything to do with trans lobby, and they don't. It's not in social. It's not in the mainstream media, and it's really annoying. We need a new press. We need better press. And that's why I say defund the BBC. I mean, why should we pay for the BBC to not hear what is vastly important in our country? Yeah. So yeah. But nothing trans gets into mainstream journalism. Yeah, absolutely. I just say no, it doesn't. Nothing trans gets into mainstream journalism. It's always on. It just doesn't. I mean, very rare do I hear things in the BBC at all, and that is a big. That's what we're all paying for. We're all paying for this BBC to hear nothing about about people's concerns about this disgraceful trans ideology that's trying to take over our country. It's trying to take over all the Western world. You know what I mean? With its perverated ideology, and we're not hearing about it. It shows who the real bullies are. Yep, that's right. Yeah, totally. Okay. Right. So as I go on, yeah, I always say let's defund the BBC. I think it's time, to stop this license, and they are stopping the license, but I think they're putting it in some kind of other tax. But let's stop this license. Stop the license completely. If you want to watch the BBC, if you want to watch crap EastEnders, okay, you pay for it out of streaming. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. I mean, that's it. And if you want to watch news that doesn't actually give you anything about what's happening in the trans world, well, you don't have to subscribe. I won't subscribe to the BBC if they do it that way, and that's the way it should be done, really. We don't want a license. We don't want it out of tax. If the BBC want to run what they're running, then that is it. Simple as that. And then I put a little thing about my book in there. I got quite a good photo, actually. I don't know whether you can see it. You can, I don't know. Quite a good photo of my book. I just thought I'd mention it again. But that was a little post I put. But we'll move on to the more important stuff, which is exposing gender ideology. So I've got the peer, that's Baroness Nicholson. She's demanding a review as a transgender paedophile was spared jail. I mean, I'm finding this more and more, to be quite honest, that, if you give the excuse you are transgender, you do seem to be getting away with a hell of a lot more. You do seem to be getting lighter sentences. You do seem to be getting forgivenesses from judges. So, if men put dresses on, they get forgiveness. Really, I find that very, very odd, and I find it very unfair. And I think I'm really glad. I really respect Baroness Nicholson. To be honest, a very, very good Baroness, and I'm really glad that she's looking into it. I'm really glad that she's demanding a review. So thank you to Baroness Nicholson. Right, so Cycle Dan says GB News is better than BBC. Yep, totally. I am a massive fan of GB News, and in fact, I get all my news really, and blogs, and everything from GB News. It's much better than the BBC. I think GB News tell it like it is. They tell the truth. They bring out gender ideology, and I think we should support freedom of speech, because I think GB News are more on the lines of freedom of speech as well. The BBC, they don't want to talk about this. They don't want to, whereas GB News are actually talking about it. They are actually bringing out what we need. So GB News, yeah, absolutely fantastic. A really good news station that us Brits, the whole country should support. And then we've got more on this Dallas Drag Your Kids to Pride event, which has sparked outrage as videos show children handing money to drag queens. Now, I've seen photographs where they're actually putting that money, and as I mentioned earlier, this is not acceptable. It's just not acceptable at all. This needs to be stopped. I'm so glad that Dallas is saying, look, we're going to make a law against it. We're going to ban it. I don't understand why it happened in the first place. I don't understand why, children was in a gay bar shoving money, in the pants of a female impersonator. I don't, I cannot work out why this is all right. It's not all right. It needs to be stopped. I hope we don't. Even if we had that in the United Kingdom, I would expose it. I would complain about it. I would take it up with the MP. I'd take it up with the Prime Minister. I wouldn't stay silent about it. I think it's absolutely disgraceful. So there was another one on that as well. Yeah, drag you. Yeah, that's that. And again, we've got more on that. The backlash as transgender paedophile is spared jail. A peer demands review of sentence, which is Baroness Baroness Nicholson on that. So that's that one. Okay. So the next one, we cannot let these this is what I'm saying. So I'm saying we cannot let these dirty, perverted trans activists win. So this is when the far left mob yelled Tory scum at Nadim Zahawi. I hope I've pronounced that right, because he's a guy that I do respect. And he was hounded off university campus by these dirty, perverated trans activists, I say we cannot let these dirty pervert trans activists win. We really need to speak out. More people need to speak up. More people really need to take the pronouns out of the bio. Let's go the other way. Don't let these trans activists win. It's full of perverts. There will be paedophiles and male rapists amongst these trans activists. These are the people that you also supporting by sticking pronouns in. So let's fight against this disgusting gender ideology that we really don't want in the Western world. It's ruining the very fabric of our society. And the next post is the offensive censors. This is where, again, they're taking the word women out, and the censors could ask, do you menstruate instead of are you female, to be inclusive of trans people. I think it's I think it's offensive. I think it's offensive to women. I think it is an offensive censors. Perhaps what we could do is take out the trans question. We can take out the trans question completely. Take out all the trans questions instead. If you're going to be this offensive, the trans lobby are going to be this offensive and try and push in to take the word female out. Well, let's take all the trans questions out and see how they like it. I don't know why they're in there in the first place. I don't see the point, really. It's just a man in a dress. It's not going to make any difference. That's that. So the next post, okay, is teenage girls having their breasts cut off will not solve their emotional problems, says founder of Transgender Trend, Stephanie Davis Aurora. I hope I pronounced that right. He's saying it's Aurora. I think that sounds about right. Apologies if I haven't. Yeah, that's absolutely right. All these girls that are having the breasts amputated, it isn't solving anything. All it's doing is it's just stopping. It's not even. You're only thinking that you're solving it. But it's you're not. You're not solving it, because later on you might realize, well, hang on, I've made a mistake. All you're trying to do is get through puberty. Puberty is difficult for everybody. It's particularly difficult for women. But it's not going to solve your emotional problems by having your breast amputated. So think twice about it. If you're in that stage now where you're thinking, I'm trans, I want my breast amputated, think twice about it, because once they've gone, if you change your mind later on in life, you'll never get them back. And that was the Stephanie that was awarded the British Empire Medal in last week's the Queen's birthday honours, and I'm really happy for Stephanie, to be honest. I mean, that's really good news for Stephanie. So it's good news for us all, to know that we are, our side, the GC community, the people who are gender critical, are getting awarded these things. So I think that's, I've gone through everything that I went through in the week. I don't want to be repeating everything. So, yeah, I've gone through everything on my Gettr channel. So, all right, let's see. So, again, I'm going to mention my book. So if there's anybody out there that's seeing this is my book. Any support for my book would be appreciated, because, again, I am being attacked by trans activists. They are trying to get me banned from quite a few sites, all sites that I'm on. They're attacking quite a few things. So I'm not on Twitter. I have had my account locked on Twitter now for it's got to be 6 months. It's coming up to 6 months now, and I think it's absolutely appalling that that these trans activists are allowed to do that on Twitter. They're allowed to get women banned. They're allowed to get anybody banned, and they're allowed to rule the roost. But I don't think it will be forever, and I think if Twitter carry on the way they're carrying on, I don't think. I don't think really they will. I don't think Twitter will last. And I'd like to, if Twitter are going to, and they are going to carry on like this by the looks of it, I'd like to see Twitter go. I'd like to see Twitter shut down, and we all join other platforms. And there are a lot of other platforms available now. There's many platforms. Social media platforms. I mean, back in the day, it was MySpace and Facebook. Then a lot of people moved to Facebook. Then Twitter came out. But I mean, nowadays, I've counted at least 1,000 social media sites that people are on. So Twitter, I've not really, they've not got the market that they could have. They potentially could have, because people just don't want to be on Twitter if we're going to have, because it's a cesspit. Because it's a cesspit, and the fact is you're worried about getting banned off it. So that's it. If you want to join me on Gettr, I'm on Gettr. Please do join me on Gettr, and keep in touch with all the posts and everything that I'm putting up there. So let me see if I can find something else, because I think I've run out of that. But maybe we can. Talk about the NHS again. I mean, the NHS are really there for healthcare, but what they're actually doing is they've been overtaken by a perverted gender ideology that's trying to get rid of the word woman, and try to replace it with offensive words that, to be honest, shouldn't be allowed. It should be stopped. And some more people need to speak out. We need to speak out. We need to stop this absolute rubbish that's happening in our NHS. We're paying for it. We need to stop it. So that's that. Let me just see. And then I don't want to repeat anything, but I do appear to have I thought I'd got a lot more on, actually. Let me. So let's talk about the vandals that have attacked the restaurant after J.K. Rowling and friends raised $18,500 for charity. The owner's been targeted by trans activists on social media with a hate of messages, with hate messages and one-star reviews. I mean, this is how vile and dirty trans activists have now become. If you're supporting trans activists out there today, this is the people that you're supporting. You're supporting probably criminals. You're supporting people who are at the edge of society. I mean, normal people do not do this. So if you're supporting trans ideology, you are supporting these horrible, dirty people. And perhaps it's time now that you actually came across to the GC movement, looked at what we're saying, because GC people are always right, you know, and then, come away from it. Take the pronouns out your bio. I mean, that's not doing any. I mean, pronouns in the bio is against women's rights. It's against LGB rights. If you've got pronouns in your bio, it really is against people's rights. You're going against people's rights, should I say? So take them out. Take these pronouns that nobody's ever used for many, ever. You know what I mean? It's only recently that it's now, let's put the pronouns in the bio to appease a trans ideology, which is not great. And then we had this is a little while ago, but we've got nurses boycott Royal College of Nursing. It wasn't a while ago, actually. This was last week, I think. So nurses boycott the Royal College of Nursing, with some cancelling their memberships altogether because members say comments by Pat Cullen on the transgender debate have created a hostile environment, and people and nurses and people, within that union they no longer feel safe in airing their opinions. And this is what trans ideology is doing. It's stopping people speaking. And I think what we've got to do is come out of this stupidity. We've got to come out of where we should be allowed to speak, and this is the whole point of what we're trying to do, of what the GC community are trying to do, and what the press that are on our side, like GB News, like the Telegraph, like Daily Mail and Spike Online and all the rest of them, they're trying to expose a sick gender ideology that's really trying to keep us quiet so that they can get on with their perverted things. We need to stop it. If we don't stop it, we're going to have children brainwashed. They're going to be allowed to do what they want in schools. We need to pull that out of schools. I'm not saying we need another Section 28, but we certainly need to take this trans ideology out of schools, because if we don't, our children are going to be brainwashed, and we don't. They've no right to do this to our children, and it needs to be stopped. So let me move on. So we've got, and this is one that was on for last week as well. It was biological males take top spots. Let me start that again. The biological males, so people born biological male and demanding to be called a woman, take 2 top spots in inclusive women's cycling division. So, there was 2 men who came first and second, and then you got a woman, an actual woman, a real woman who came third. We really do need to get men out of women's sport. Trans women are men. We all know the men. There's nothing about a trans woman that's a woman. Okay, they are men, and men do not belong in women's sports. And that's really, if we don't fight, women's sports will be over. If we don't speak out, women's sports will be over. If we don't stop what this perverted, sick trans ideology and the trans activists that are pushing it do, if we don't stop it, okay, we will lose women's sports. There's no question about it. Men have clearly got a biological advantage, okay, and there will be no point women participating in sports if they are not allowed to have women's sports, if then, without men being in it. So we really do need to speak out. So if you're out there and you're thinking, why should I get involved? If you don't get involved, women's sports will be over. There's no point any woman participating in sports if a man takes part, because he's just going to win every time, because he's got the biological advantage in female sports. So we've got Cycle Down to, so I don't think women's sports will be over, but it will be damaged. I think it will be damaged, but I think if we don't change the laws, if we don't change the rules, and men are just going to flood into whether they identify as women or not, and they're just going to take it. I think women's sports will be seriously damaged, but I think it will be over. I think it will be free for all. It will just be men's sports and mixed sports, and that's all it'll be. And I really don't want that. I really want it where, you know, women fought hard for their category of sport, the female sports, and I think that they they deserve it. You know, they deserve their own sports. They should have their own sports, and I think if we're gonna basically let let men who demand to be called women take over as women's sports, it's a big problem that needs to be sorted out. Yeah, so that's that. But I think it will be destroyed. I think if we don't fight, I think we'll be destroyed. Um, and then we've got Biden. I did mention this earlier, but this was one that I put on. He says that the Biden administration is holding school lunch money hostage to force transgender policies. That's what activist parents have said. It is happening. And I just said that what a disgusting president Biden has shown himself to be. He certainly is not a president for women. He's certainly not a president for LGBT people. He is a president for men in dresses, because he's certainly not supporting women. He's not supporting our children. You know, with regard to transgender ideology, he's certainly not helping us at all. So Cycle Dan says, I think it will never come to it. There is a good pushback against it. There is pushback. The people are pushing back now, and I think that's good. But I wish more people would speak up. I wish more celebrities and more sports people actually spoke up and said, look, we can't have men in female sports. I know there were some mixed sports, and that's fine. There's always been mixed sports. And I know that, you know, there's always been men's sports, of course there has. But these women's sports, these female sports are for female people. And men who wear dresses are not female people, and they shouldn't really be allowed to be in female sports. I don't know how it was ever allowed to happen, but you're right, there is pushback, and there's good pushback. But yeah, we need more people to speak up, and that's that. So then we've got and this is where Megan Kelly spoke up and said that Leah Thomas is not a woman. She said that he's not a woman. I'm sure that's what she said. Let me just say. She says, Leah Thomas, yeah, you're not a woman. Absolutely, he's not a woman, and he never will be a woman. Leah Thomas, real name Will Thomas, so Will never be a woman. You know, he can call himself what he wants. You know, he will never be a woman, and he should not be in women's sports. This is, you know, this perverted section. We've got trans activists, which are a perverted section of our society, that are forcing this nonsense onto us, and these individuals that are doing it are damaged, deluded, and dangerous individuals that we should all be cautious of. They're trying to change the very fabric of our society. You know, they're trying to change. You know, they're trying to change male and female. They're trying to change every. You know, they're trying to ruin what we know. They're trying to ruin biology, and they're doing it by trying to silence us. So it's really you know, a big problem. Call him Will Never. Yeah, call himself Will Never. Absolutely. Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, yeah. So it's getting up to be time. So we're going to be. I'm going to be ending the stream in a minute, but I just wanted to say that I will be up and running next Wednesday. I don't know how long I'm going to last on Wednesday. I might last for about half an hour, I might last for about an hour, but I will be here on Wednesday, and I will be here on Saturday. So I'm going to do 2 streams, you know, next week, and see how that goes. But thank you for everybody joining me. Thanks again, and hopefully I will see you Yeah, I am trying to stream it at least a day in advance, cycle dance, but I don't know how to do it. I'm very inexperienced on YouTube. So I don't know how to do it, but I will try. I don't know whether I can actually set the stream up and then shut my computer down. I don't know whether I can do that, but I'm learning, and I think that that is what I'll try and do. I'll try and set the stream up a day in advance to see what I can do and put it all over my social media because I'm on a lot of social media. So I will definitely try to do that. So without much ado, I'd just like to say, thank you for again for everyone joining me, and I will see you all next week. Oh, I've got to end the stream now.